If you like this video, make sure to visit our Vimeo page and follow us to get the latest update.
We'll just repeat like one class on the routing and navigation, and then we'll go to the next part, which is a basic part like Launchpad configuration and all that we'll cover today. Okay. Dev space. This we have covered already. How to create a dev space and all, right? In the business application studio. If anyone is not sure about this exercise, we
Has
can
joined the
repeat it.
meeting.
Access 3, access 4. Okay, so in order to go to the Launchpad configuration, you have to go to the home page and click on this Go to Trial Account. Once you get this account set up, then we go to the this trial sub account. You have to click on the sub account that you can see on the screen and go to the marketplace. Then you will find a Launchpad service. This I'll show you right in a minute how to find. So this is the first step. Go to the trial account. And this within this page, you will see this sub accounts here. These are sub accounts. First time when you create, it will show you the configuration part and all. And you will also have to select a region like Europe or US or some other region, Singapore or one or two locations additionally it shows. So this is your landing page, and from here you have to from here you have to go to the services menu item by selecting services marketplace. Services menu, services marketplace. Nikhil, can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So here within that marketplace, if you type in the search window Launchpad services, then you will see there will be a lot of services. You can see one service is highlighted. Click on that, then you'll see all this. And when you get Launchpad services highlighted on the right, you can easily add it to the account if you do not have it. And that is a part of
Has left the
entitlement.
meeting.
When you go to the home page, right, where you see the sub accounts, at that window itself, at that page, you'll see entitlements. There you have to configure the entitlements, and you can add the service plan as well if you don't see. But usually it will see. It will be shown. And click on add service plan and don't forget. And within the overview tab, click the actions tab here. You see the bottom side. You have to click the action tab. And select create opened menu to create a new subscription. Create new subscription. This is your new subscription. So next you see this and then create button. Create. So creation is in progress. It will show you'll get a confirmation that your subscription is being created. View subscription to view the service. This step will redirect you to the services instances and subscription screen. The screen provides you with an overview of all services and applications that are currently active. So if you click on view subscription, then it will take you to the page where the subscription is there. So why you need Launchpad services? So when you develop a application, right? You can either deploy it to the backend system, and from there you can configure a service and launch it, or you can directly deploy it to your BTP workspace or cloud platform, whatever it was previously called. And for that, you need a place like a dashboard, right? That is nothing but a Launchpad. So that Launchpad service we are going to create here. So once you go to that screen, you'll see this. You see this. From the instance and the subscription screen, under the subscriptions tab or in the overview screen, you will see that you are subscribed to Launchpad services. So that's first part of it. And then second part is you have to add yourself to the Launchpad admin role. So you have seen these two are configured, right? Now we have to do the admin role configuration. So while you have this opened, you can go to the security tab on the left here and then click on the trust configuration from side menu. Then what you'll select is default identity provider to select the SAP ID service. So this is a security. Click on it and then trust configuration. Default identity provider. Click on that. Okay. Now once you click, enter your email address and then click show assignments. Whatever email address you are registered with your trial account, just type that and show assignment. So this is your sub account assignment right now. Then you have to click on the assign role collection. Assign role collection. Which role you have to select? Launchpad admin role. You have to select and assign it to it. You see the Launchpad role, admin role. This is the admin role, right? So select and assign role. So now you assigned yourself that role. So now you see that. Now access the Launchpad service. Now you are ready to access the Launchpad service. You have to go one level back to the breadcrumb and then from there you have to start and open. Click the same dot icon and then you can open the service. Let's see that. So you can now, because you have assigned, just go back one step. Trial. Launchpad service and go to applications. Say this. You have to click what? Go to applications here. Okay. Then it will take you to that particular Launchpad services. Remember guys, this you cannot do it within the RDP because your trial account can be registered directly from your desktop. I don't know where you are doing exactly. If you are creating your trial account within the RDP, that's fine. You can try it that way also. But this is directly linked to your email address that you are providing. It's still loading. So this is the site that you can see, right? So this is what you see. Launchpad opens and you see the site directory in focus. So this is where you can actually create your sites. You can either deploy your applications or you can directly create your web pages and all that. Okay. So this is all a whole different process that you can learn if you want to follow the tutorials on this. But right now we are not covering this. We are just configuring the Launchpad service and we are going back to our tutorials. So that part is done. Okay, this is just for the debug part. Debug part I have already shown you, right? If you have any questions, we can go through them.
Tanish, actually in debugging now what happens is even if we are seeing some error message now we are not able to resolve it, like many times it happens. Like that day also we were checking, but we were not able to figure out like what is the problem. Then Joby pointed out like resource file, we just need to edit.
Oh, okay. Okay, so like library contact, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So
those
just we
things.
can go some through like basics, like frequent error messages, something like that.
Like commonly faced error messages,
Yeah.
those kind
Right.
of
Right.
things. Okay, that we do not have a exercise or anything, but in general, yeah, we can go through them after we finish our tutorials, right? Now
Okay.
today we have to finish our a routing tutorial. I kind
Okay.
of prepared a
Okay.
complete
Thank you.
document on that. Yeah. So that is completely a module 11. Then module 4. Yeah, this part is done. And debug because we have covered already, so I'm not covering it again. And the whole of this part is done. So we'll jump on to the some parts that are left over. Then tomorrow we'll go to that other part. So right now, the routing I'm directly explaining from here. This code, we'll try to create a project and then we'll walk through. This is basically if you want to directly download the code. This is from walkthrough step 31. Want to go directly go there, you can directly take this. Then it should typically look like this. Download this. Then that file you can import here. Already have it. So we'll go one by one. So for the routing part, first thing what that we need to understand is a manifest.json, right? So what we'll do is within manifest.json, we have a section for SAP UI5 where we configure models and everything. After models is done, below that you have to start a new section called routing. So within routing, you have two sections again, subsections. That is, one is configuration, the other one is routes. Of course, you have a targets also, which all views are accessible. That's basically the targets. So configuration is basically this which API or which class it needs to refer to is this one that we define here, routing class. And then view type is XML because we chose XML. And this view path is basically the landing view. It can be first view, second view, or anything. That is what it is. And control ID. Control ID basically is a app ID that we created. And aggregations is basically pages. So this is how we first route. So it's going to the home page as an overview page, right? Within the overview page, then when you click on some next or details button, then it will go to the detail part. Excuse me. Okay, so next comes, it's explained here in detail. So the configuration, this section contains the global routing configuration and default values that apply for all routes and targets. Basically the library that it has to refer for the routing part, and then the landing view and the view definition, etc. Right? Those things. And routes. Each route defines a name, a pattern, and one or more targets to navigate to when the route has been hit. So if you just define the routes and if you do not define the targets, then it doesn't know where to go. So that's another problem. So make sure you define the routes at the same time you define the target views also. The pattern is basically the URL part that matches to the route. We define two routes for our app. So this is because a demo app, basically example. The first one is a default route that will show the overview page with the content from the previous steps. And the second is the detailed route. Let's see if we can execute this one. Same problem. This is basically the library issue that we kind of faced before. So that's some class error. So I will look into this one later, but instead I would suggest you guys to start using it from the like a fresh new view, create a new view and start doing it rather than going through it. Just take some examples like a code snippets and all that from this one, but try creating new views and all that. It's the same error that I was trying to resolve. Once it's somehow linked to this one, once this completes, then it might work. Okay. The target defines a view that is displayed. It is associated with one or more routes, and it can also be displayed manually from within the app. So whatever target, whenever a target is displayed, the corresponding view is loaded and shown in the app. So that's why we actually define the targets. So after that defining the routes and configuration and targets, you have to go to the component.js file. And what do you do? Basically here, just initialize the router class that you defined, right? Initialize the router here. Then we go to the XML view. And within the XML view, what do? We just define two views. Like this is basically the overview view where we have two different views, like a hello panel and a invoice list. We are just pressing defining one press function that is open dialog. Within that, once you click on that open dialog, then it should go to the next view, right? Next detail view or something. It should show the details of that particular line item. So that code we'll do within the open dialog on open dialog. But here, let's see what happened. The next part. For example, in the app view is basically the like a shell page, the first page, right? That gets loaded, and that view will have a app ID that we are going to use, which is ABAP that we define. And within the detail view, we are basically defining nothing but just a title for now. So it shows nothing more than this title. Then we have invoice list view. This is where we have few more functions defined, like we have object list that is bound to this invoice quantity and the product name and all these details, numbers and all that. So this again can be as simple as just a list of all the invoice numbers without all the prices and all that, right? It has currency prices. So many other features are there. So that we can avoid. So now that the view part is done, we go to the controller and we just define on press event. So what we can do is we can actually try to create all this because we have already the code part. Just choose a manual application. Okay, we got this project cleared here. Here. Just take the content from here. Within the object, we are just adding object title. See how it looks like. We see some invoice, right? We'll continue to define other parts. Routing. Right now, it doesn't have any routing part associated to it. So that's what we are going to do. Can add this part to our A18 properties file. Controller. Just take this highlighted event. Don't need anything else within that. create a second view called invoice list. So each time we create a view, it will create an associated controller to it. Right? Just so that's so far just a view and this thing. And within that invoice view, we can insert these items. Okay, so for items, we have to define the list. They're just defining the list and end list. Okay, now let's see how it looks like. While I'm doing this exercise, I would advise all of you also try this. Basically, this will make you like a good hands-on exercise on routing and navigation concept. So this view has now these items, done this detail view, done this, and app view and this overview view, we have to define. What is this view? Okay, let's go to this initialization part, component or stays. By default, it will be there. If not, we'll have to define. Okay, function, we have to just define these two. We have a dialog defined, so I'm just taking that as so here, because we used a dialog, it needs to be defined here. Or else let's just comment it out right now. We don't need it. Let's see the other parts. Okay, so now because we don't have the master detail view, we cannot create these views like the overview view and the app view, right? So what we can do is we need this open dialog press action. So for that, we create a button on the home page, and upon clicking that, we'll just take this one to the second details page. Okay. So it will put this button in the first page under the invoice. We have a title here. I'm just putting that as a here, open dialog. Open dialog for the overview. So where is the overview view function? This is for the list. Do not change the controller as it only contains our helper method to open the dialog. That means we use the controller to do different views. Instance. Okay, we did not define the routes yet, so let's define this routing. Have our manifest.json file. This can be opened both in uh, that form like a code editor as well as a configurator part. These are all dependencies. So after model, we'll define it. We have resources also, right? So let's define after resources. Again, remember this path we have to change. We have to go to this one, right? So we'll just change this. This will be U1. Are you also trying? These are the routes and pages that I defined. So what is there in my view for? I have a button, and for that I have open dialog. When I click on open dialog, it should take me to the next screen. In order to understand that, we'll have to invoice list on filter and all that. This is basically the filter icon, but this is that navigation on press. On press navigation is what we need. In the view on press router, we already have this. So this navigation route, we have to change it. And we'll change this. So details. Have this icon. Because of that, we got this, but we can just comment it out. We don't need an icon. Text is equal to submit. I got this one. So once I click that, it's not triggering anything, right? Let's see. Okay. So can resize your debug window, bottom or up, wherever you. Simply, I am refreshing, and when I click on that, are there any actions happening? Nothing happening here. So nothing happening. So the invoice triggering is not happening. Within this, our on press button action is not triggering anything, and it's not going to this one. So what's happening, where it's going wrong, that we have to figure out.
Hi, Danish.
Yes.
In manifest file, in the target section, you have not renamed the overview and detail page.
Okay. Okay.
It should be invoice list. And
Thank you for that. Yeah.
And I'm not sure in 88, line number 88 and 89, if the naming will be like I will be the caps or and L. I'm not sure about that. Check that also.
Okay. Yeah, it can be small letter.
Okay. Thank you.
See if this works anything. Okay, now O routing. It's pointing to O routing means Previously, it was not even pointing to our output. That is something. This is again, I guess it's basically some problem with the routing part. Once we fix this, it will work. This is attached. Okay, I need to basically define this complete router configuration within. Okay, found the issue. Basically, it was, I'll share. The issue was here. I supposed to define the app ID in manifest.json. We defined the view path and the control ID, right? So within the view path and control ID, when I mentioned app, when I copied from the other one index to here, right? Manifest.json to here, it's looking for this app. So instead of actually going, what I did, I just defined the app ID here and it kind of overwritten now. Now it's pointing that this particular view is not visible. So if I change that view, it should work. That view invoice, small invoice, basically the naming part. This list view. To copy this name. See. So far, the errors are not relevant, but after a run, this view is not defined. Found.
Tanish,
Yes.
I found the mistake in manifest file.
Okay. Where is it?
Line number 78, that is view paths. We don't have to provide the view one in the last 78.
Okay. We do not have to.
Give the view name because it is asking for the view path only.
Okay. Okay. Right. You are correct. Should not mention this. Thank you. Who was this?
It's Pragati.
Pragati, thank you for noting it down, mentioning it. Right now, do not have that error. Okay, now it's a controller issue. This control.
Tanish, in line number 6, it's TCS routing test dot view. You don't have to provide the view, it's controller.
Yeah, it's a controller, and this is correct, right? I did not
No,
create it.
it is going through TCS routing test, then it is searching for view, then in that view it is searching for controller, then invoice list. But
Okay,
yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
Oh, we deleted that path. Right, right, correct. Still it's not fine. Looking for controller was list dot control JS.
Could you please check the same thing in the view invoice list.view XML?
Yeah, it's something like this. It should
No,
point
not
at
this one. No, this is correct. In the view invoice list.view.xml last time.
okay.
Yeah, the same issue.
Okay, now we can see it. It's directly navigating. See, it's directly navigating now. Thank you. Those were small issues, but they are big. So it's simple, right? Now it's working. So what all we did here, we're not even displaying all the list items, but we are, yeah, because we have to bind that invoice JSON to it. That's another exercise that we have to do, like JSON binding. Just get the JSON there. Just the file. Let's see now. Right now we are not getting I18. We are not getting I18 resource bundle. Okay, that's because we did not define the model part in the manifest.json again. That part needs to be defined here within the model. Right? We only have the resource bundle right now. So we have to define the model part in this one. Check that. This manifest, if we compare, we can see that path. This is directly pulling from Northwind. Instead of this URI, we can mention the URI of our path. services mock data invoices.json. Slash. See if this gets loaded. It's not getting loaded, so I have to check. Okay, let's see the JSON binding parts. How we do is for JSON binding, first we have to define the JSON as this one, as a data source. The path of the JSON file. In our case, it's a local service slash mock data slash invoices.json and the type is JSON type. And then you have to go to the targets within the manifest model section, which is like this within the model section where the I18 is bound. There you have to define again whatever the model that was defined again, that alias type that you have given there, and this is the name that you would be using within your controller, component controller. And then go to the component.js and just define a JSON model and bind it to the device. This doesn't, usually you can initiate here, or this is basically initiating the local file. So you can do this. You can basically write this. Here you have JSON. Of course, we have to define the model. This initiation is done here where you can basically define whether it's one way or two-way binding. Again, one way is basically reading the data from the file. Two way is basically if you want to perform some operation. So for now, it's only one way. Then we go to the controller file where we want to bind in this file, right? So we go here and we initiate there. We don't have this model.js, so usually in this, you can create that model.js file and then use it. Or directly initiate in the controller, view controller like this, you have to call. It has to match with the name that we gave in the model. This name. Data model. So yeah, because we are using this component. This component. Okay, that's the problem. And this model that we defined here, right? This we have to use it in our view. So the view will have that model binding part. Application model. Yeah, so this is how you have to bind column list. So for this table, we bound this model with the name and all that data model. So this is the path we have to bind. Items. This is the objects basically. So in our invoice, we have to see how it is. Have nothing, so okay. Still not there. So anyone tried binding this one? Try this exercise. Once the binding is done, then we can see the output. Ashutosh or somebody shown me the binding last time, right?
I guess I did the routing part, but the code is now not in the server, so I'll have to do it again.
Okay, try doing it. And I remember you also tried the list binding, right? Did it
Yeah,
work
yeah.
for you?
Yeah, it was working.
Okay, try that again.
Okay.
Okay, so the problem is because of this routing problem. When I click on invoices, right, it's showing error. When we try to access this path, it should pretty much show you exactly take you to the invoice. And here I see that after routing should be app. Now I can see it. So this path configuration is what we have to correct. This. Okay. Local services. So it's basically trying here. So let's just add app. Should work. Okay, now we see that the JSON is binding. It's probably the problem is with the view binding. If we fix this view binding, then it should work. This is invoices, invoice and invoices. Invoice. Send invoices. This is the name that we're supposed to give, invoice. So I gave in my manifest. This is not was remote. If I change this with this one here, it should show something. Now it's coming to actually invoice. So we see the data here. Let's see what happened now. This quantity. Okay. Change this one here, but I didn't change below. Anyone got any pointers here you want to say? Invoice list. Got this. Items and it's an issue with the binding, a view binding basically. Up to view the data is coming, but just here we are not binding it correctly. Let's see what models we can see here. Start view. So at this point, if you see a view model, this is one model. within this model, what all you can call, you can see. Data model is available. Data. So here you can see this dot. So these models are bound actually. And do we see items? We have to find that. This dot overview dot get model. So we got this model. So when we give the name, it should come up like this. Where else we did? So guys, I'm trying to get it worked. If anyone find a way where it's going wrong, you can also try and show me if you have any luck binding it. I'll get it working in a minute. Okay. So let's meet like in 10 minutes. I'll get this shown to you. Okay. Anyone got it? Otherwise, we'll move to next section. Okay, let's move on to next section. Next, we will cover some concepts of this RFC destination and how you can use them in BTP. You all got access to your BTP account, right? So log into your BTP and we'll see how to configure the RFC destination and all. Go here to the sub account. Within the sub account, if you go to the destination, create a new destination. And for example, if you want to configure you can see the steps here. Basically, you have to give these things. And method will be HTTP by default. Description, something you can understand. And this is the open URL basically. Of course, you don't need authentication, but if it is a data service or anything, we'll need to mention the authentication here. We have to enable these things, these properties. Build true. Similarly, add others web IDE system. By web IDE usage for data gen. So because this is a open source one, usually it will show you the destination setup. Once you get this one, you can check the connection here. This should show the green. Okay, so how you can use this one in your service marketplace, this dev spaces, I'll show you. Directly go from here. This was stopped. We'll start again. It's running. Because the services are not working from our web, web ID, I'm showing it from here. So if we try to create check from template, Here you can see different options. Connect to a system. You can do whatever the systems are connected. So whatever the RFC destination that we configured, we can see that is available here. We have to just mention the service path here. This is basically the service path that we supposed to give you. For some reason it's not taking. Okay, so basically I changed it to a data service, but otherwise you can actually take it from the other side, other one. So from here, you can see all the entity lists that you see from the service. So directly you can check that one. For example, check the invoices. Within invoices, you can see all of them, like customer name, check type, customer ID, date of measure, price. All these mandatory items need to be enabled in order to go to next. This is by default our project. I'm showing this because we don't need to check. This whole steps we discussed in the last class, right? I will go here and run this project from. Let me see if I got anything. I don't see projects folder. Okay. Okay, once I deploy this application, I have to download it. But right now I cannot download it. Okay, I want to run this application, but usually this, when we did that part of binding the resources and all that, right, it will show you. Okay, this I'll explain tomorrow, the where to download the file and how to run it. But we kind of executed that basic program, like we kind of followed this BTP protocol and have it. Okay, I'll give couple of minutes for you to share your screen and show if you have worked on any model binding exercise. Anyone want to volunteer to show, or shall I call Ashutosh, Balaji? Have you both tried?
I didn't try data binding, but I was trying a predefined template, list object analytics, and that's working for me.
Okay, predefined. Can you show me?
Yeah, sure. Is it visible?
Yes.
So basically, I took a template, list object analytics, and I gave the Northwind URL as the data, and now I can choose what attributes I want to show on the screen. So for example, I want to show only these four. If I click, it will change. I didn't do it to myself. Like the data binding is done by the template itself, not by me.
Yeah, the template itself, but I mean, where did you run this application? Did you use a web IDE to build it, or
No. Business application studio.
business application studio? Okay. And when you deployed the application, where did you run it?
I
How did
haven't
you get
deployed.
it?
I directly ran the application.
Okay. And what exactly you did? Just right click on it and run the application?
Yeah, just from here I start without debugging.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay. So yeah, I mean, template by that's the advantage, right? That's a good part of it. When you use the templates, within the
Yeah, so I
templates,
don't have
you
to
can,
do the data binding. It's doing it for me.
yes. It takes care of OData binding and its property binding also. So
Yeah.
all these things will be taken care while creating your initial template itself. So it asks for the service layer, and then it will ask you how many views you want to create. And based on that, if your service has like a multiple navigation paths like a sales order header level, detail level items and all that, that you can create multiple views and bind them. It will
Okay.
give you options also like what can be like a ID key and what are the other items and all that.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to visit our Vimeo page and follow for more upcoming videos.